Hello, my name is Bullets. This is my SGDQ 2019 submission video for Minit 110%. We're gonna get into it and explain some stuff while we're going. So Minit is a game from Devolver Digital about picking up this cursed sword. As you see in the top left, we have a timer with the speedrun timer in the top right, but the top left timer is just how much time you have left until the game forcibly makes you respawn back at your house. Though, like you can see we did there, we can do it ourselves. At the beginning, you're supposed to get a flashlight upgrade. You can actually navigate in the dark without it by listening to footsteps and doing specific inputs. So right here, we're just navigating here. A major thing to understand is there's also snakes in this cave this entire time. We have to navigate around these snakes while we're going and listen to footsteps. Traveling backwards like that only saves a second, but traveling in the dark there in general saves some time for you. So it's worth doing just to speed things up a little bit. Also, it's an interesting part of the run. For going that upgrade, it takes a little bit to learn, but it's really interesting, personally. So you have these different homes that you can set. So as you can see there, we can reset there right as we enter, and it'll respawn us. There's four main homes in the game. There's one kind of home area that we'll talk about later. This is the second last dark area we have to go through, where we have to use footsteps, but that one's pretty simple. That one's just holding down. The cave is the only one that's like fairly complicated. We have this one as the last one. This is the temple that we'll be going to a few times during the run. Each of the sides has a different mechanic. This one is you can't take damage. So you're forced to get the watering cannon and bring it there, which we picked up at the very beginning of the run. We'll use the watering can a few times. So 110%. The classification of stuff is getting all items, all coins, which allows you to get some items, and to get all the heart pieces, which you need all the coins for. So right now there's a fast shoe item that we can get, or shoes, not just one shoe, that you can get for 7 coins. So right now at the beginning of the game, we're really just rushing to try to get those 7 coins as fast as possible. The fast shooters will let you start sprinting after a couple seconds of movement. It's really, the earlier you get it, the more time you save over the course of the run. So right now, as you see, puffs of smoke there. Though when we go on a ladder or anything like that, or if we bump into something, we lose our sprint. So it's really important not to do that. So this tentacle right here, we have to find all 8 of them, which give us an item. So we'll be looking for those as we go. You will see that later on. So the item we get for that allows us to go much quicker, so we'll actually be focusing on that later on once we have all the objects we need to get that. So the top area of that, the north part of that temple, actually forces you to die there 4 times, 1 from each of the homes that we have in this game. So you'll see every once in a while just be running over there and resetting in that room. This is just intentional because you get a coin for doing it. So just whenever you're in the area, once you have the fast shoes, there's no reason not to. So we're picking up the gloves here. Earlier we picked up the sword thrower, which is going to allow us obviously to throw a sword, which is actually really important for finishing the game normally even. But we also have these gloves, which allow us to cut down stumps, which will also be very important later on. Right now we're killing all these crabs because the coffee house nearby wants us to do it, and it gives us coffee, which lets us push boxes, and there's a ton of boxes in this game. It's very worthwhile doing it. Obviously we have to do it for 110% anyways. But we forego doing it until we get the fast shoes because it allows us to run between these areas a lot quicker. The major thing we need the box for or the coffee rather, for right now is to push that box out of the way and get the lighthouse key. The lighthouse has a flashlight on it, which is the upgrade that before we passed up on, but right now we need the flashlight just because it's an item we need. Later on we'll need it because there's some large dark sections that are pretty much impossible to do without the flashlight, and aren't really worthwhile doing without it. Alright, You also saw because we got the gloves, we could get the boat wood from the top of that tree, which is going to allow us to drop off the boat wood. This is the guy we saved in the desert, and after we reset, he'll make a boat for us. So we're just going to go up here and get the flashlight and then reset. And then we'll go on the boat, which can bring us to our 3rd of 4 homes once we get there. There's a little bit of a boat ride with it, but I can talk a little bit about kind of some of the stuff we'll be doing on the island as we're there. And get a little drink of water. Good hydration moment. There's also a tentacle here. This is the 2nd one. We need 6 more after this. One thing you can do while you're waiting for this is actually it counts you as still sprinting while you're doing this. If you run against the wall, eventually your sprint, or your fast shoes rather, will kick in. The first thing we need to do here is we need to set our home here. If we don't set our home here, we have to do the boat ride again, which wastes a lot of time, as you just saw a few seconds ago. So we'll get the basement key from here, and then just tap this. We do have enough time to do one of these puzzles, so there's no reason not to do it. We have to do 3 of these puzzles to activate a teleporter that's in the bottom of the basement, which is also why you need the basement key to get there. The 2 of them are up here, and then the 3rd one is in the basement itself. These are all just memorizing the puzzle solutions and stuff like that. As is this one. Get a little submarine ride. Tap this. And you'll see this, because we did all 3 of those puzzles, it activates that teleporter. But that teleporter is going to allow us to freely go between 3 of the 4 homes. It doesn't let us go to the camper home, but we'll have a shortcut for that later on. So now that we have that, and that's going to give us a lot more free movement between most of the homes, we're just going to go on our way. We don't really need any items from there. The teleport is the main reason we go there. We're going to use this box. Usually you need to get the flipper upgrade, which we'll talk about a little bit later to get there, but you can actually kind of use the box. The collision there is a little bit odd. You see there's a scuba guy underneath the lake. Well, you'll see him in a second. He actually only comes up for air when there's 10 seconds left on the counter, so you'll see until I get there with less than 10 seconds left, he's just waiting underwater. So it's kind of the routing for this is specifically so that we give him enough time to get up from the water. So now we're at the hotel, which is the last of the 4 main real homes that we go to. We'll be doing a lot of stuff here for a while. There's a bunch of residents for the hotel that used to be there, but we need to kind of like go collect them all. So one of them was in the bandit group that we just killed all of them. We actually need to kill those bandits another 3 times beyond this. We just push this out of the way and get the health upgrade from there. And then we'll run back through here. I'm gonna go say hi to one of the residents that's here. Usually you have to chop down all the trees. You see the guy that's hiding in the tree over there. Whenever you get near a tree, he goes away from it. But if you stay far enough away from that tree, if you get too close to it, he'll just jump away. If you're like right at the tip of the sword's hitbox, you can destroy the tree before he runs away. This is one of the main reasons we need a sword thrower. We need to destroy these bombs. If you get too close to that wall, it has some weird collision with that. We're gonna use the sword thrower here again. Just hit the switches. The main reason is for this bridge so that we can let this residents across. So once all the people are back at the hotel, this ladder drops, which gets to the flippers, which I was talking about a little bit before. The flippers let you walk across water, which is vital for for a lot of the collectibles rather. Still be using that a lot. So now that we're here, since we have the sprint shoes, we're actually going to take a break here for a second. This is a waiting room. Since you're supposed to go to the factory and you're lodging a complaint with them, you're supposed to wait. We're not really supposed to wait here, but kind of a joke thing to go sit here and wait. But if you wait here long enough, a coin actually spawns. So since we're doing 110%, we do have to wait here for this 1 coin. But yeah. We're getting to the point where we need to... The entire point of the game is to go to the factory that made this cursed sword and, you know, complain about the fact that every minute that we're just dying. But instead we're just gonna collect everything and steal all the coins they have lying around. You have to break the pages, or the books, or whatever's on the ground there, the paper, I guess. Anyway, so you might as well throw your sword to also get the tentacle, instead of doing 2 different slashes. This is the shortcut I was talking about before. There's no teleporter that brings you directly to the camper home here, but you'll see that because we've got the shortcut, it's a shortcut straight to the factory from here, but we're not actually going to set our home there. What we want to do is we want to go to the sneaker shop. You'll notice there's a basement here. There's actually a teleporter that leads to there instead of the home itself. And then because we're here already, we might as well go die there at the top of the, or at the north temple, which, as I mentioned before, you have to die from every single house location. So there's 2 more that we haven't died from there yet. Once we do that, that's unfortunate. Right outside. Sometimes these guys will troll you a little bit, so we need to kill them 2 more times after this. The main point of doing this is to get the bone. We have probably noticed a few times we stopped at the main house that we started at. We have a dog. There's a bone, so obviously we need to go pet the pup right here. And we get a heart for it. One of these 6 hearts you need. So now we're gonna clean some stuff up here while we're in the area. Since we have to bring the bone to the dog anyways, we might as well do some of the stuff we need the flipper for. The coin here isn't super important. We could have gotten it at any time at this point. The main thing we want to do here is we want to try to get the turbo ink, which is the upgrade for, or the item rather, for getting rid of all these, or not getting rid of these, saving all these tentacles that this octopus has left around. So we're swimming out here. If you swim in any other of the ocean tiles but the ones we walked on, a shark will spawn and just kill you. Even if you walk back to one of the correct tiles, you still get angry at you. There's a clip that you can do here. It's a bit odd. It doesn't work super often. But the main reason we want to go here is we want to get the tentacle that is here. There's a shark down here that'll come towards you whenever you're not on a box. You have to be careful to do that. Once we get that, there's actually some other stuff down there. There's some coins that we can get, but we'll come there later. Right now we just want to get the turbo ink, so we're ignoring everything but that. I'll explain kind of what it does once we get closer to getting it, which actually will be pretty soon. We actually have 7 of the 8 tentacles we need now. The last tentacle is actually right next to him, but he doesn't notice it because he's a silly dude. So we're gonna go up here, get it, and then if we've done this correctly, which I believe we have, we get the turbo ink. So the turbo ink's really good because anytime you slash, you start dashing like this, which is incredibly useful, since it usually takes a little bit for it to start going. Oops. So usually whenever you bump into something, it's really awful because it takes you a couple seconds, or whenever you spawn, it's awful because it takes you a few seconds. But now, anytime you hit something, it will start dashing for you. So now we have this. We're gonna go back and get the bandit coin, which is, you need to kill the bandits 2 more times. You'll notice, because we have the turbo ink, ooh, jeez. One bandit did not want to play nicely. But you'll notice because we have the turbo ink, the amount of speed we can get, since we're always dashing between them, is kind of wild. Then anytime we spawn, we automatically save time because we don't have to wait. Start sprinting again. So we have this really difficult section here where you have to push all these boxes into this conveyor belt. The timing for this is very tight. You usually do not have a ton of time, but we try to jam in as much things we can do at once because restarting at this point would actually lose you some time. So we need to push all these, and we're pretty much trying to break the factory, stop it from making curse swords. There's the main villain of the game, just chilling there, hanging out. We can't hurt them right now because their sword apparently not good enough. This person keeps getting stuck in the conveyor belt, so we have to go free them. As you'll see, we do not have a lot of time at the end of this, but there's a coin back here that we can grab right at the end of our life, and then restart. We actually have to go back there. There's a second item you can get in that same area. There's 2 puzzles that use the same exact moving blocks. So there's a box that's at the other side of this water, but if you try to push any boxes into it, they fall in like this. So we need to build a bridge using these blocks so we can get the last one across. You'll see when I go over there. There's one hiding in the corner there. There you go. So we need to push this in the grinder, which gets us the grinder item. Whoops, I almost made a bad mistake and pushed it in the water. But getting this allows you to break boxes with your sword, which is honestly not super useful for the run except for that. I believe that's the only point you use it in the entirety of the 110% run. But you need it, even if we didn't need it for that, we would need it just because it's an item and it gives us completion, so regardless. And we're in the area as well. This is also a really tight life in terms of how much time you have left before you die. This tent is like a temporary home. It does not technically count as a home, so we don't need to die at the North Temple with it. In fact, it's kind of difficult to run all the way back and do that. Not impossible, I believe, but there's no benefit to it. So this pipe is taking you to the trophy room here. In the trophy room here, you have to look for which one of these is not sparkling, which is this one. If you grab one of the sparkling ones, what happens is the game will make you explode and you just automatically die. That's very Raiders of the Lost Ark sort of. Choose wisely. But now we're going to clean up some of the stuff that we skipped out on. So you see we don't have 19 coins yet. So we're going to go fix that now. Oh, there we go. That's a pot clip. Just so you get through faster. And we need to kill these bats, which is very fast once you have the turbo ink. Which is why we wait out on doing it until now. Now we are going to get the last coin. So we still need to get the coin from the North Temple, and we also need to get a heart that's in the South Temple part. We're gonna do them both together, which is ill-advised because of how tight the timing is. So you have to grab this coin and then immediately run down and get the heart that's down here. The entire point of this is that you need the fast shoes for it, or else you will not have enough time. Even if you're like starting from the camper spot, like the closest possible. Because we went and got something else, it makes the time very tight for this. I think if you move like really, really well, you should have like 5 seconds. So like any little small issues kind of permeates pretty largely for this. So, like something like that is not the best. We gotta make it exciting, obviously. You just want to avoid bumping into things as much as possible. We're probably gonna get it with like 1 second left. 2 seconds left. That's fine then. So the bottom of the sneaker shop basement gives you that heart once you have all 19 coins. Don't really need to restart there, but we will. The bottom of the sneaker shop gives you a heart. So that's all the things we need. We got all the coins, all the hearts, all the items. So we are, we are ready to complete the game. So we've broken 2 of the 3 parts of the factory. So now we're going to hit that gear down there, which is going to get our sword stuck. We need to restart and bring this water can over here and get it, which gives the mega sword, which will allow us to actually break the entire factory. This is the boss fight. The boss fight is 3 different phases. The first phase is pretty simple. You want to flash all these stationary swords. Sorry, I did not know the word stationary. Then we have all these swords here. We actually want to intentionally take damage because we're on the speedrun patch. We can't reset on this like normal. Oops, I should have gone up top and died there. I want to die with 2 left because it actually cycles out well where you do it this way. He starts his next phase and then immediately starts attacking because he attacks on a certain timer for the timer on the top left. So if you get into the next phase with a certain amount of time left, it's really beneficial. For this phase, so for the second phase, we wanted to wait until the sword's planted down and slash them. For this third phase, we want to wait until they're done spinning. If you throw your sword at just the right time, you can usually hit it. So for this last phase, I'm just going to sit right next to it and hope I get lucky that he... Oh. So sometimes he'll stop his sword right in front of you, and if you just slash, you can hit it immediately and then hit him. It's a little bit of luck-based, but the timing difference is on the scale of a second. But it's worth doing if you have enough health, so you have to kind of watch your health at that point. And that's going to be the end right now. So usually you're supposed to go to the toilet and actually throw the sword into it. And you can see we got 110%. Usually you're supposed to throw the sword into the toilet, but on speedrun mode it just does it for you since the in-game time build stops at that point anyways, before you even throw it in the toilet. So it just kind of expedites it. But yeah, so that's Minit 110%. There's a lot of really interesting stuff, especially with the beginning areas, with that, doing the darkroom movement. A lot of clean movement and interesting routing, stuff to talk about. There's always something to talk about, even for the parts like we're on the boat ride or we have to wait in the waiting room. There's always something to talk about the run. Something I really enjoy. I think it's a really well-made and really cool thing to show off, especially all the routing that people have come up with, especially with the new routing with the getting the turboing early. There's a lot of cool history to talk about with that, and just a lot of cool people behind the scenes have done a lot of work for this. So I'd really enjoy getting to show this off. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this submission.